The Luniz, Operation Stackola. It's been a while. Welcome to It's Been a While. I'm Tillman. This is a series where I talk about albums that I loved as a kid, but for whatever reason I stopped listening to them. And today we're talking about Operation Stackola by the Luniz. Before I continue, don't forget to like and subscribe and hit the notification bell so you know when I release a new video. And leave a comment, say whatever you want. If I don't like it, I'll just delete it. Shout out to August Freeman. I'll delete your comment if you want me to. Okay, back to Operation Stackola. 1995 gave us a lot of great hip-hop singles from all over the map like Ice Cream, Keep Their Heads Ringing, and Space Age Pimpin'. But for me, none of them spark as many fond memories as I Got 5 on It by the Luniz. I like the Luniz because they were street guys that didn't take themselves too seriously, and they did the impossible by making a weed anthem that wasn't obnoxious. E40 dropped his single Sprinkle Me 3 days before I Got 5 on It, and it was this 1-2 punch that made me fall in love with all things Bay related. Of course there were other artists like Hammer, Digital Underground, and Too Short, but what E40 and the Luniz were doing was so foreign that I just wanted to hear more. Me not going back to this album is another case of me not replacing my cassettes when I got rid of them. If I had bought it on CD, I probably would be listening to it because I still listen to lunatic music to this day. When I look back at the track listing, the song titles ring a bell, but I really can't remember what most of the songs sound like. So let's see if I can jog my memory. The album starts out with Put the Lead on You featuring Drew Down. The Luniz appear on Drew Down's 1994 album Explicit Game on the song Ice Cream Man. Numbskull even makes reference to the song in his verse. This is also the song that started their feud with Master P, because if you know the story of Master P, you know that he spent time in the Bay, and when he came back to New Orleans, he started calling himself the Ice Cream Man. This feud lasted for about 10 years, and I'm not 100% sure if it's really squashed. Now, if you came into this album thinking you were only going to get weed anthems, this first track is the wake-up call with the Sinister beat from Tone Capone. Next, we have I Got 5 on It, and you've definitely heard this song, so there's not much I want to say about it, but I do want to talk about the sample. Most people assume that the sample is taken from the Club Nouveau song, Why You Treat Me So Bad. While technically true, that's not the whole story. The person singing on I Got 5 on It is Michael Marshall, a member of the group Timex Social Club, which was probably most famous for the song Rumors. Now, most people credit the song Rumors to Club Nouveau because the two groups are so closely related. The story goes that Timex Social Club broke up after the success of Rumors and reformed as Club Nouveau. Michael Marshall tells a slightly different story. According to him, a producer named Jay King wanted to sign Timex Social Club to a record contract. Marshall declined, and King went on to sign Club Nouveau and pattern their sound after Timex Social Club. And this story does make sense. If you look at both groups, there's no overlapping members. The Club Nouveau song Why You Treat Me So Bad is a ripoff of Thinking About You by Timex Social Club. To make matters worse, when Tone Capone got Michael Marshall to rewrite and sing the hook for I Got 5 on It, that's right, Michael Marshall also wrote the majority of the hook. The paperwork wasn't filed properly, so Michael Marshall never got paid for I Got 5 on It. In other words, he got burned twice by the same song. Thanks to Jordan Peele and his trailer for Us, Michael Marshall is finally seeing a little money from I Got 5 on It, but it's been a long road. There's an article in The Ringer that I'll link in the description if you want to know more about it. Broke Hoes, produced by Shock G, is a pretty standard song about not giving women money. The song flips Ain't Nothing Going On But the Rent by Gwen Guthrie, and it even mixes in a reference to Humpty Hump. And I'm pretty sure the woman talking in the chorus is Sugar T, but I'm not 100% sure. Pimps, Players, and Hustlers featuring Richie Rich and Drew Down is produced by N.O. Joe, who's probably most famous for his work with the Ghetto Boys and UGK. This song is filled to the brim with game and was the first time I ever heard the term, if you're scared, go to church. Player Hater is the only other singer for this album, and it was produced by CMT and EA Ski, who produced Trigger Got No Heart for Spice One. This single didn't do as well as I Got 5 on It, but honestly, no single could have done as well as I Got 5 on It. The song also helped popularize the term player hater, which is Bay Area slang in case you didn't know. Numbskull takes shots at Too Short, who had moved to Atlanta by this time. There was a rumor that Short was run out of town, and it's ironic that they decided to spread this rumor on a song where they were complaining about people spreading rumors. This beef was squashed shortly after this, and they even did a song together called Funkin' Over Nothing. In a funny callback, Yuckmouth actually says quit spreading faulty rumors around town like Club Nouveau, which again, not the right group. Broke Niggas featuring Knucklehead and Eclipse is a sinister track produced by DJ Fuse, who's probably most famous for being the DJ for Digital Underground. Knucklehead and Eclipse don't add much to this song, so the song goes on longer than it needs to, but Numb and Yuck definitely deliver. Operation Stackola suffers from a weak hook, and it's not bad, but considering it's the title track, it doesn't do much for the album. 5150 featuring Shock Jesus is a psychedelic track that deals with the mental illness that comes with life on the streets. And I don't know who does the redneck voice on the song 900 Blame a Nigga, but it sounds like an actual white person, which probably made for a tense recording session. And speaking of voice acting, Numb and Yuck doing the dope fiend voices at the beginning of Yellow Brick Road cracks me up every time. So Much Drama featuring Nick Nack, who, like the Luniz, also debuted on Dru Down's album Explicit Game, and she delivers one of my favorite verses from this album. This is the only song where Numbskull directly addresses the beef with Master P. I'll be honest, the middle section of this album is pretty thin. With the exception of 5150, almost everything after Player Hater doesn't really deserve repeat listens. As much as I respect N.O. Joe as a legend in Southern hip-hop, most of his production on this album is pretty basic. Numb and Yuck always deliver lyrically, but their featured artists like Knucklehead and Eclipse drag the songs on longer than they need to. My ears perked up on She's a Freak, mostly because the subject matter is so raunchy it's kind of hard not to, and even then Knucklehead delivers a weak verse in the middle of that song. Also, hearing Numbskull talk about sex, Plead Guilty, no pun intended, is a great story rap song which I wish came earlier in the track listing. The album ends with a I Got 5 on It reprise. The first verse finds Numb and Yuck going back and forth, which is something I wish they did more often. Not really. I always like the Luniz when they sound like they're having a little more fun, which is why I listen to their sophomore album. This album has too much mean mugging, which is something I usually enjoy, but not when the Luniz do it. This album starts out pretty interesting, but gets a little bland in the middle. But on the upside, I think we'll be playing I Got 5 on It Until the World Burns, which might not be too long from now. So when's the last time you heard Operation Stackola? Are you still bumping it to this day? I'm going to keep talking about albums until I run out. Until then, I am Free Tillman, the only guy on the internet that doesn't know everything. Peace.